No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we have come. There is no...
This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. What I'm looking at today is 2017's Life, directed by Daniel Espinosa. And if you're at all familiar with Espinosa's work, he also directed 2012's Safe House, also co-starring Ryan Reynolds. And Life is an interesting movie because it is probably one of the most cynical movies I've seen in a long time. I enjoyed Life immensely because it was a taut thriller and very well told, but at the same time, it's ironically enough a terrible movie. Let me explain how. For a start, it's derivative of a lot more interesting or better movies. For instance, you have The Black Hole. You have Species, and you have Prometheus, which it virtually steals from. This is very self-evident, and it's kind of irritating because this I describe as a C-list movie with an A-list cast and an A-list director. It's still a C-list movie, but damn, it looks good, but it doesn't deserve the attention it likely garnered at the time. As I was saying, it looks great. To production design, the International Space Station is probably like. Though the thing is, his design is interesting because it skirts a line. It is very claustrophobia. Take one. It's very claustrophobic. They feel very trapped. But if you've seen images of the ISS at all, what you see in Life is, of course, an exaggeration because it's way too roomy. The space station, in actuality, is cluttered, and there's no room for the people to be moving quite as they did in the movie. But that being said, the production design skirts that line between realism and fantasy very well. So, as I was saying, it looks wonderful. This movie, as written, because I think that's where all the blame lies, frankly, is very cynical because it takes 4 or 5 people, puts them in a situation they cannot escape from, and puts them against an enemy which is near indestructible. And this is problematic because it makes no sense. Very little about this creature, as designed, makes sense. For instance, if you've seen the movie at all, the creature, who was named Calvin, looks very much like the monster from Prometheus, the one that impregnated the engineer. Now, except smaller. So the thing is, there is no reason why this creature should be as able, as capable, as smart as it actually is. And the reason I think that this is the case beyond movie is because I don't think the writers understand what intelligence means necessarily. In the sense that if you've read anything about octopi, the plural of octopus, you probably are aware that they're very intelligent creatures. But the thing is, you can put an intelligent creature in a situation it hasn't been in, and it doesn't necessarily respond intelligently because it's overwhelmed by its circumstances and doesn't quite know how to cope. That never happens with the creature with Calvin in Life. Every situation you put him in, he dominates it. I keep calling it he. And while the creature has no sex, as far as I'm aware, it's so aggressive and patently evil that male is probably the only pronoun I think that would fit it. But in any case, intelligence doesn't mean that you do everything great. That's not intelligence. Intelligence is reasoning. It's coming to grips with a situation. It doesn't mean you conquered a situation. Not necessarily. And that's apparently what the writers of Life think intelligence means. And it doesn't. And so, watching a movie is a study in frustration because no matter what these people do, they can't stop Calvin. No matter what they try, will not work. Not that what they do doesn't make sense, but because of movie. I don't necessarily believe in the term torture porn, but life is as close as I've come to it in many a decade. This movie is just designed to put people in a circumstance where they are killed. As I said, it's cynical, and while thrilling in many ways, it's also difficult to watch. So, for a movie called Life, this is one movie that doesn't excel in promoting it. The entire movie is a kill trap for people. There's no other point that I can find to this movie. Perhaps space is a dangerous place. Perhaps just because you find life doesn't mean you need to promote it and that it can be hostile. That's fairly obvious. That's the theme of virtually every space movie where life is discovered. I don't think that's necessarily the theme of this movie. In fact, I would argue this movie doesn't have a theme. As I said, it's torture porn. It's well cast, it's great looking torture porn, but it's torture porn nonetheless. And to be totally honest with you, it's one of the few examples of it I've actually seen. Now keep in mind, I deliberately don't watch movies like the centipede movies about people getting tied up, ass to mouth, stuff like that. That's weird, and I don't see the point of it. So I just never bothered to watch them. But this is in that ballpark. It's not that it's gory. It's not really. As I said, the movie is a kill trap. It's designed to kill people. In the movie, obviously. And for that reason, it's just not enjoyable. Have you seen Life? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. And since you're there, please consider a like or a follow. Peace.